What's up, guys, and welcome back to another Blitz Brawl. Apologies that there was a week off, some stuff come up, and unfortunately there was no video last week, but we're back. So, you know, it's an even more anticipated episode between two titans of the Legacy Lore community. But before we get to two titans, let's address the titan in the room, Speed Robo. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, Woody. Spring has come, the rainy season has begun. Everything is green and beautiful, just like the battle map in Legacy's Allure.
I can't even beat or go on that segue. I can't even mention it. So you know what? I think that's it. I think you've nailed it. I think you've absolutely nailed it. All I will say is we've got a cracking match today, or hopefully a cracking match lined up for you today, between Gravy and Empire. So it'll be a pretty interesting game to jump into. It's an 80 gold Blitz game. I'm super excited. I know you're super excited. So enough of the intro, enough of the fluff. Let's get down to business. I'm pretty sure that's a song line, but anyway, let's go for it.
Yeah, it is from a very famous movie.
Okay, so we are into the drafting phase of the Blitz game. Not to get confused with the two different game modes there. But yeah, so in the drafting phase of the Blitz game. Now what's really important, what's really cool here is we have an Aurelia mirror match. And as you quite rightly pointed out just before we got to this, Mr. Robo, they are completely different builds. So before we go into units, talk us through these different builds and how they're going to how it's going to manipulate each player's focus and play style.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm actually really excited to see this happening. Over here on the red player, that is Empire, who is playing the red Aurelia, he is going to be using a big Aurelia style. This is an Aurelia that's meant to be a charger and an attacker. Fly in, shield herself up, and then glory at the start of the next round to tap down Gravy on the blue side's units to steal those actions. And over here, Gravy is playing a spellcaster Sunstrike build of Aurelia. This is an Aurelia that's going to be hiding in the back line, shooting spells and dealing tons of damage with that Isabek staff to give +1 spell power. His Aurelia is going very light and cheap, few abilities, few items, as opposed to the 3 abilities and 3 items of Empire's Aurelia. You are going to see the same hero play completely differently here today, showing that you can really customize these cards any way you want.
Yeah, indeed. And like you said, it's really, really cool to see. So on Empire's side, we have 13 gold invested in Aurelia. Whereas on Gravy's side, we have 7 gold invested. So there's a big difference there. 6 gold difference, which is effectively a unit alone invested into the hero. And like you said, it's just a perfect example of the diversity in there as well. And units. So obviously you said the Empire's going to be kind of charging in and looking to steal action economy, basically. Whereas Gravy's going to be looking to ping from the backline. What units have they taken? Do you think it's going to play into that? Like really like MVP potential units from these guys?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, right out of the gate. And with Empire being the attacking role and Gravy being the defender role, this is exactly what these two players are wanting to do. That lined up perfectly for them. And when it comes to units, the MVP units I'm looking at here is Aurelia is going to need a lot of knights and chargers to back her up. And so Heavy Knight, Royal Griffin, and Knight, the things you would expect to see, are going to be supporting her. Not to mention there's 4 crossbowmen over on Empire's side. They are a charging cheap archer.
Yep.
And we're going to see Empire take all of his cards and throw them straight into Gravy's front line. And down on the Gravy's side, honestly, biggest, most MVP card I'm seeing right now is that Spell Cradle Seraph. Give Aurelia even more spell power to take out huge units in a single shot.
Yep.
Empire's going to have to watch out for that combo.
Yeah, indeed. So Sunstrike 2 effectively able to proctor 4 damage with the Spell Cradle Seraph, as well as the Isabek staff. 4 damage that is global. Anywhere on the board for 2 mana is pretty terrifying. It's definitely...
Oh, actually, Actually, I do want to correct something. I was wrong on my analysis. Isbek's staff does not stack with other sources of +1 spell power.
Oh, there we go.
So Spell Cradle Seraph can't stack with that. Actually, I just double checked this. This is why you always want to read your cards, folks, so that you don't make a mistake like me.
The age-old mistake.
Yeah, the age-old mistake of not reading. Instead, I think Spell Cradle Seraph is actually going to be doing something else that's very neat, and that is going to be comboing with Dawnbringer Paladin. Dawnbringer Paladin giving that +1 spell power is going to be able to take out crossbowmen in a single AoE shot.
Yeah.
That could be huge. That could be huge.
Which effectively makes it almost a charging unit, right? Because it can it's combinable, so it can move to 2 spaces and pop it now. And 1 damage at the moment isn't anything too amazing to write home about, especially against Iron Guard units. Very few Iron Guard units have the 1 health power, much unlike the kind of the weaker goblins, shall we say, from Gaff. Whereas the 2 damage, like you said, is huge. I mean, it gets rid of a shield bearer, it gets rid of a crossbowman, tactician that is 1 health anyway. There's so many units that on Empire's side that 2 damage can really carry a lot of weight with.
Yes, I fully agree with that. Dawnbringer Paladin, just having imbued as well, is going to be really nice against these knights that Empire's chosen to bring. That being said, you know, Gravy's also bringing his own heavy knight and regular knight to the table. This is just going to be a fun slugfest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. Round 1, things are getting taken off this board. I guarantee it. Yeah,
I mean, across the board, the kingdoms are relatively similar. Slightly more crossbowmen for Empire, whereas Gravy's diversity a little bit with the longbow archers. But relatively, they're pretty similar. It's mainly the Aurelia build, right, that really have changed the way these decks are going to be played. Rather than, it's all good saying, hey, they've got similar units, but the actual play, obviously, being attack and defense, has a dictatorship on that anyway. But the way the Aurelia is built is very much going to be kind of looking to protect that more, like you said. Especially with the Worm Scale Mail, you're definitely going to want Aurelia in there to get that exhaust action from Glory. Whereas, like you said, Gravy's going to be a lot more tentative, a lot more ranged, and just pinging stuff off the board for fun.
Yep. And like you said, Woody, your analysis is always on point. This is going to be a very, very fun game to show the people at home for how much your hero's build can and does dictate how your deck wants to play. You know, the hero is your most important card, always. Yep. And so with Aurelia being able to be much more aggressive on Empire's side, we're going to see Empire able to hold back with some of his other chargers, whereas Gravy is going to have to commit his knights to that front line a lot sooner than Empire's going to have to.
Indeed. And we can see a pretty standard opening play there, right? Heavy Knight, you know, thinking, hey, having 6 health and 1 armor, it's not enough. It's not enough. I'm going to give you a shield.
Never enough.
So Shield Bearer doing what Shield Bearer does and giving gifts all year round, not only when it's Christmas.
You know, we're going to see a lot of setup plays. Like I always say in round 1, what you want to do first is you want to get all your setup out of the way. You want to distribute your buffs, your shields, things like that nature. So we're going to see these shield bearers getting used on both sides of the board. We're going to see Spell Cradle Seraph give that +1 spell power to Dawnbringer Paladin. Very straightforward things like that. Maybe we could see the Spell Cradle Seraph give the spell power to the priest for extra healing. That's a little fun trick that most people don't know you can do.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it could technically, right? She could give the cast range to the shield bearer to allow shield bearer to give the shield slightly further away.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Empire really thinking through his moves here. Really wants to make sure that he doesn't mess up. Like, and the thing is that a lot of people are going to be looking at this right now and being like, what is there to even think about? Well, similar to chess, you have to not just be seeing what can happen this round, but the next round as well. And so every time I see Empire take a pause and think through all of this, I know that he's the kind of player that is seeing the end of round 7 at the start of round 1.
Yep.
And I think that that's always very intimidating as well.
Oh, definitely. And you called it. You called it before they even agreed to start the game. The Dawnbringer Paladin getting the spell power off of the spell cradle as well. So we'll be doing 2 damage when they choose to run in and pop that as well. Pop that on there as well. So Heavy Knight not looking so intimidating right now. Still an intimidating figure, but our magic damage on Gravy's side is not to be messed with.
Well, here's something. The Tactician could also give +1 movement to the Dawnbringer Paladin, giving it 3 movement. Yes. And that Dawnbringer could run in right now between Empire's 2 knights and the crossbowmen, take out the crossbowmen, and deal a lot of damage to those knights very early in this game.
Yep. And obviously so putting the knight down to the OG knight, down to 3 health, because with the magic damage passing the armor, would mean that Aurelia could remove it with a Sunstrike.
So, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's honestly a very solid play.
Yeah.
Tactician coming in to give, +1 movement to the Pegasus.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That can be used to take out an archer right away.
Yeah. The 5 on the...
there he goes.
On the Pegasus is, very, very interesting. 5 movement, pretty much covering the board. Well, not all the board, but a lot of the board. Can't take the priest yet. That's 6 movement away. But like you said, a longbow archer can get in there and clear them out. So yeah.
And like I just said, movement has been placed on the Dawnbringer Paladin as well.
Whoa.
Apparently, I'm good at calling these plays pretty early.
Well, I mean, it's crazy that we both said, Empire's going to probably be kind of rushing in here and really getting the damage in. Wow, it looks like Gravy's setting up to that Dawnbringer Paladin just to get insane value, moving out to the Hex down over here to possibly get some big damage down.
Well, that is what Gravy does. He is known and feared in the server as the premier aggro player. He will throw those black dragons and those knights straight in your face and ask if you have an answer. And usually the answer is, please don't kill me, sir.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. And Empire now, obviously, kind of, do you think it's almost like damage control? Like they know what move is coming. There's no way this Dawnbringer Paladin move isn't coming because so much is invested in that unit already. But now, how do I play around it? Do I just ignore it, accept it's going to happen, and look to counter on another part of the battlefield? What do you think the right kind of line of play here is for?
Blocking off that hex, because that was the big devastating hex that Dawnbringer Paladin could take. And so blocking off that hex was something I do think is correct. Using the crossbowmen here, I do think was a bit of a miss. Personally, I would have moved the Royal Griffin into that G3 hex that the crossbowman is in now. Because here, he can still do this, and it still takes out the crossbowman and deals a bunch of damage to the knight and prevents the Dawnbringer from being attacked. If the Royal Griffin went there, he would not have lost the crossbowman.
Yep. Is it not 2 damage? 2 damage on the knight?
It should be 2 damage.
Yeah, because...
Unless we missed something, I ask the players.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's... because the armor only obviously doesn't protect against magic, does it? So the... So, okay, there we go.
He's healing it off with the priest. Yeah. It was 2 damage. He just healed it off with the priest.
So priest, using priest early, do you think Gravy's gonna be happy with that now? Thinking that I can now start pinging stuff more now, knowing that their only source of healing is gone for this turn or this round.
Oh right, yeah. Honestly, if I was Gravy, I would be very happy with that.
Yep.
And something I did want to bring up is that again with spell power, I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I did miss a ruling on spell power. If you check the back of Isbek's staff, you will note that the spell power only increases 1 instance of the damage. So it was supposed to be 1 damage on the knight, and the 2 damage was dealt to crossbowmen instead, which is why the crossbowman was taken out.
Okay.
Yep, then that was something that I missed as well.
But sorry, for some reason my PC won't let me look at the back of the cards. But hey,
that is completely fine.
It's fine. It's tabletop simulator, so it's gonna do it from time to time.
Tabletop simulator is gonna tabletop simulator sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. There's nothing that can be done about it. You have to live in the moment and weirdly enjoy it.
Live in the moment. Play a good game of Legacy's Allure. What more can you ask for?
Exactly. Now we see the shield bearer coming across to the Royal Griffin as well. Making that Royal Griffin at 6 health, or we'll say 6 health, 5 health, 6 hit points, which is that's a pretty intimidating Griffin now, especially if you go off its passive ability, which it gets 2 actions a turn. So a round, sorry.
And,
so it's a great late game card. I always find Griffin moving out wide to flank. I always forget about it. Although it's not tapped, I always end up being like, "Oh, I'll deal with that later," and then normally I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, what an idiot! I've left the Griffin now," and in it swoops, and I'm normally regretting it. I'm normally living to regret it.
I absolutely agree. One thing that I kind of see coming from Empire's side of the board here is Aurelia giving Solar Aegis to the Royal Griffin. If he does that, Royal Griffin can move in, cannot be attacked, and then take out something in that front line. That's a play Gravy's going to have to watch out for.
Yeah, indeed. Surprising to see that no one's taken the middle hex here. You can tell no one's on gaff because there's no there's no big 8 health unit just sat there with a shield on them. It's a little bit more tactical. Not that I'm taking the mick out of gaff players at all, you know. It's interesting to see that hex hasn't been taken yet.
Well, and we're just showing the play styles of the different factions here at this point, because with Gath, you very much want to take that middle. They're a very aggressive, assertive faction. Erengard is a lot more, and we were just commentators curse, knight moving in, grabbing the center. But Erengard can be a lot more passive.
Empire heard us and said, "Hey, you guys, I'm going to make you guys eat your words. Eat your words."
You know it. Enforcer coming in with a disarm from Gravy's side, perhaps? I think it's a solid play. Disarm means that knight will not be able to retaliate during this round.
Yeah, it's effectively its damage output, the free damage it offers, would be reduced to 0, right? So, we're going to ping it first. Okay, nice.
I like that. And this is one of those rulings that I do actually know, and I am correct on. Shield is factored in before other forms of damage reduction. So that's why the 1 armor didn't kick in and protect the knight, because the shield gets removed first.
Yeah. Now we see the Enforce come in and disarm, effectively taking the free attack damage on the knight down to 0. So technically it does retaliate, it just doesn't do any damage when it retaliates, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So it's. I like to imagine it's got some pink fluffy unicorn gloves on that just don't do any damage, you know.
Yep. Actually, I just checked the back of the card as always. Reading's important.
Read the cards.
And we were wrong. It's not that it deals 0 damage when it retaliates. It simply cannot retaliate at all.
I told you, Mr. Robo. You said it didn't do damage. See, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the ruling.
Yep.
I'm the ruling guru.
You're the ruling guru today. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm forgetting all these basic rulings of spell power. I'm having an embarrassing day. I don't know if we can show this episode live at this point, Woody. We'll have to cut that footage.
I think it's going to be. It's been a cracking game already. I think it's going to be a cracking collusion as well. And we see Crossbowman coming in.
Absolutely, I fully agree with that.
Getting the range. Crossbowman only has 1 range, but they do an extra damage to any exhausted unit. So, having a 3 gold unit that can do 2 range damage is incredibly powerful, despite there being a slight situational element to getting that 2 power. But the board's setting up exactly how I'd imagine Arangard, right? That arrowhead, that figurehead kind of getting there, that real knights at the front or an enforcer at the front, something strong at the front, and those units coming down. Trying to force your opponent one way or the other, effectively split a gap in the middle of your opponent's kingdom, right?
That's correct. You know, it's just, this is something that you see in a lot of war games, war video games. You want to set up these sorts of formations with your units and just go in and split the opponent. So yeah, just classic war game stuff right here. And that Aurelia up in the front is looking very safe with her 1 armor from Wormscale Mail. I'm thinking a Big Glory is going to come in from Empire, and Gravy is going to be in trouble with that.
Yep. Yeah. Obviously, the units were exhausted anyway. Action's been spent on them, so pretty safe move from Aurelia to get up there as well. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this kind of round turns out. But I feel like, as it is with all good players, Legacy's Lore, round 1 is very much a pacing round, a setup round. Try and bait your opponent out. It's like, you know, when a great chess player plays an average chess player, they try to work out straight away how they play, what their weaknesses are. And once they kind of realise how they can manipulate them, that's it. And that's what these guys are doing now, right? Taking chinks in each other's armour, try and find where their weakness is. Who's going to make the first little mistake? Who's going to overcommit something? And then that can be the snowball effect going into round 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 and 7.
Absolutely. And Royal Griffin moving in with its +1 action. Putting the die on it to indicate it. The actual print version of Legacy's Allure is going to be coming with a bunch of dice, and since we made our Kickstarter goal, they're going to come with buff and debuff dice as well.
Yeah.
Great way to keep track of everything. Really excited to see.
Yeah, I did see those. I saw that the Kickstarter was backed, and I suppose you should take a moment actually to quickly thank. I know Keith's already done this in the Discord, and we've done it on social media, but just thank everyone who supported the Kickstarter campaign, whether it was a retweet, a like, a post, a down the pub with your friends saying, hey, there's this really cool war game currently on Kickstarter that you should check out. Anything like that, all the way up to backing. A massive thank you to the wonderful community that's been growing over in the Discord and on social media, and everyone who helped support the Kickstarter campaign. And to treat you, you know, we've got another Blitz Brawl, so it's not a hard life. It's not a hard life. You guys kick back, you relax, you enjoy yourself, and be proud that you helped the Kickstarter be so successful. And now indulge in this wonderful main course of Blitz Brawl, Arangard v Arangard.
You know it. And speaking of Arangard v Arangard, both heavy knights are staring each other down, not wanting to get into each other's range. This is a classic Arangard standoff right here.
Yeah. But you'd think with the huge joust that they're holding, that they just want to kind of run at each other. They're eager to kind of just face off and see who comes out victorious. But obviously Gravy committing here and leaving the heavy knight in range could be very dangerous. That 4 damage charging on the heavy knight is not to be snuffed at whatsoever. It's incredibly powerful.
I agree.
I wonder if we're going to see the Squire doing Squire things like last time. If you remember a couple of games ago, we casted a game where Squire made it all the way to the end. I think Squire won the Centre Hex,
Squire
if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Dude, look, people meme on Squire in the community as being a mediocre card, but honestly, you got to watch out for that little guy. He's got some spicy tricks up his sleeve. Not a card to be trifled with.
What people don't realise is the Squire from that previous match that won it on Golden Hex is actually now the heavy knight that Gravy's playing. He was so promoted up. That's actually true lore. It's coming in the lore book and everything. That is actually the heavy knight. And it's amazing, you know. It's like a living card game. I love it. Warning, it's not absolutely a living card game. Just in case anyone all of a sudden goes, wait, this is a living card game? No, it's not.
It's a card game with life.
Yeah,
shall we say?
Yes, I mean that's a great way of wording it. So Aurelia, I mean, range doesn't matter on Aurelia, right? Aurelia's there to basically use the Sunbreaker. A quick question for you. A quick question, actually. I genuinely don't know how this works. So Aurelia's currently at 5 mana. If she wasn't to spend any mana this turn, but with the mana regen, will she go above her base mana, or is it capped at her base mana?
That is a really good question. Before I say something that's wrong again, let me read the back. Mana regen. This unit gains 1 mana at the start of each round, but not more than its max mana.
Okay,
So therefore, she will be capped at 5 if she does not Sunstrike, and it doesn't look like she can. Nothing... Yeah, no, nothing on Empire's board has damage or can be damaged. Empire's done a really good job mitigating his potential losses from a Sunstrike.
Yeah.
So now it's just Gravy. I think Gravy just wants to move. No, he's going to skip. He's going to skip and take going first. Probably a good plan, all things considered.
There we see the extra movement from the Pegasus coming in. He's not going to be going first now. The Heavy Knight coming in to clean up the Pegasus. Oh, so do you like that from Empire?
Great
kind of getting the Pegasus in there to not only remove an archer, but also get first play.
Yeah, that was so smart because now, watch this. They're ending the round. Empire's going first, and here comes Glory. Here comes the boom.
Straight off the bat. There we go.
Yep. No reason
coming
not
in
to.
And
boom,
straight off the bat. Knight exhausted. Enforcer exhausted. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. There you go.
Ooh,
Action,
this is going to be so hard for Gravy to deal with. Oh, that is brutal. And like Empire just did a genius play holding that Pegasus until the end. I know that I'm going to admit it, as a lesser player, would not have been able to resist using that Pegasus early. I wanted to fly in there and take a piece, you know?
Yep.
But he waited, and it paid off for it. It so paid off.
Yep. No, it's...
And now Royal Griffin's there as well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Royal Griffin removing the shield with crossbowmen. Taking the ping what I could. Any reason why they would use that on the crossbowman and not go on the shield bearer? Is that obviously shield bearer would die to retaliation, right?
Mm-hmm. The reason is that shield bearer would die to retaliation, and the way Gravy's looking at it is Empire's next big high value play is going to be using his Royal Griffin to just chomp the crossbowman and then chomp the Spell Cradle Seraph or the Longbow Archer. So he had to use that crossbowman or lose that crossbowman, and there he goes. There he goes. One action left on that Royal Griffin. Oh no, not taking Solar Aegis on his Aurelia is really biting him in the butt.
Yeah, going for the Sunstrike, the pokey leaning back and that. I mean, we haven't seen the Solar Aegis right yet from Empire either. So
we did in round one. He used Solar Aegis on his Knight.
Yeah.
Yep.
To make sure it could keep the key objective there. So
that's right.
Also using the crossbowman before they lose it also helps the action coming right. They're already 2 cards down because the Glory removing those 2 actions. So if they hadn't used the crossbowman and it got eaten alive, no pun intended, then it would have been worse on the action coming right.
Yes, sir. Exactly. And speaking of action economy, down he goes. Yeah. Down goes the shield bearer. Gravy just bleeding troops at this point.
Yeah.
He is going to need to do something explosive to make a comeback.
Empire having a rather wonderful time up there. Or rather, should I say, Royal Griffin having a rather wonderful time up there.
A royal time.
Indeed. That's a nice play by
good sunburst.
Yeah, coming in there, getting rid of the shield, putting some damage across the Knight's crossbowman, and removing that shield. Yeah, removing the shield from Heavy Knight. So it's a nice sunburst. That 6 health is going to keep that alive for now. Obviously, a double Knight combo could easily remove it.
Yes.
But we will see how they choose to do that. I mean, I say that there's a crossbowman right there that could easily go in and do some damage to it.
Yep. And
Tactician coming in and giving...
Tactician to give... Oh, that's so mean. +1 movement to the Enforcer means that it can run in and disarm something. Oh, no.
Yeah. But at the moment, everything's out of range, right? Because... Oh, no. Sorry.
The
disarm
knight.
meaning that they can't retaliate. So yeah, can go in and
Yeah.
disarm the knight, so then the knight can. Yeah, that is very mean.
Oh, that's so mean.
You're right on that one. It's very very mean. Tactician also on Gravy side looking to buff up their heavy knight, which could be pretty scary.
That could be very scary. If he gives +1 power to the heavy knight, he could use it to take out Empire's knight right now.
Yep. Yeah. It would
could
clean
be very
sweep
good.
that knight right in the middle there, which would
Oh, yeah. Okay, I like this play as well. Using the Spell Cradle Seraph to deal 1 damage to the Griffin.
Yep.
The Griffin is out of healing range of Empire's Priest, so that means that Aurelia can just take that Griffin. Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And there we go. Disarm. Yep.
Disarm.
Oh, that's just,
as you called it.
That's mean. Yep.
Yep. Not. Oh, of course. Remove the debuff though with the priest. So saying, hey, I don't care about the healing. I'm going to remove that debuff. So knight will be pushing damage back now. Should Aurelia or any other unit try to or wish to attack it. Squire still going strong. That's Squire. I'm telling you, Squire is the best card in the game. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
You know what? We're going to start the new meme in the server. Squire, best card in game. I want to see that posted in chat. Prove to me that you watched the video this far and comment down below. Squire is the best card in the game.
Yep.
I want to see that.
If anyone deserves like future expansions for Legacy Lore, evolving cards, and Squire's the first one that gets promotion to Heavy Knight, shows the true journey of how Gravy's Heavy Knight once was a Squire. And there you go, as you
absolutely.
said, Aurelia coming in and getting rid of the Griffin.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just honestly the best thing that Gravy could have done. It's a wise move. It's a very wise move.
Yep, indeed. Any reason why she would move to next to the Enforcer to cast a spell?
I think the reason why is Gravy at this point is trying to make a very defensive formation, keep his units clustered up so that they can protect and guard each other if a Knight, Aurelia, or Heavy Knight comes in and starts trying to pick them off. Yep. When you are down on units and you're down on action economy, this is a relatively smart plan to go with, as it helps cover your weakness of having less units. Make the board smaller and make your opponent come to you.
And then we see the buff going on to the Heavy Knight. Oh no, it's going off the Heavy Knight now.
Changing his mind.
One card we haven't seen really utilised yet, and it's been so strong in recent games we watched, is this Spellbreaker, right? It's such a strong card that we've seen in previous games. And this game just hasn't had a chance to get going. It's just been kind of making up numbers so far. So I'm sure Gravy will be looking to try and bring that in. And here we see Heavy Knight.
Oh my god. But this is actually the chance. This is actually the chance for Spellbreaker to shine. Because Spellbreaker can silence Empire's Aurelia.
Oh, yes.
And that would prevent the Solar Aegis from being used.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, of course. So we see the Heavy Knight coming in and pushing 4 damage onto the Knight, where the
solid
came from earlier. Yep, taking the 2 back on there as well. On the we're gonna go back on that plane. They're not too sure that does Gravy want to do it? Does he want to commit that damage? Does he want to take that damage back? Tune in next week to find out. No, I'm joking.
Next week? Wait a minute. So actually, okay, hear me out. Here's what I'm thinking here. And this is a bit of a wild play. He could use his Spellbreaker to give his Heavy Knight magic resist. And the reason why that's good is that if he moves the Heavy Knight in, he'll take 2 damage and have 4 health left. Aurelia then can't take that Heavy Knight by giving herself charging and imbued with Sun's Fervor, because he has magic resist.
Yes, of course.
That might actually be the play here. But instead, we're going to reposition our Shield Bearer. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
Positioning.
Yeah, I mean
is
positioning's key.
It is key. There's absolutely no. It's what gets me so much every time I play this game. is my positioning. I'm used to playing, like newbie card games where you just throw down big combos and go, I win because I kill you. You have no health.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
when I have to position stuff, I'm like, wait, what? It's like a game developer going from 2D to 3D. Like, I can move forwards and back. What?
Yeah.
That's what it's like for
And
me.
don't get me wrong, I love combo card games, but when I am looking for like that deep strategic experience that makes me feel like Sun Tzu, I always go for Legacy's Allure, man. Like this is the game that lets me really flex my data brain, and that's part of why I think it's so fun.
Yeah.
But speaking of positioning, that is what is going on right now on both sides of the board. Both players just trying to maneuver around each other, get set up for that next round because we are concluding round 2 here pretty soon. We're going to go into round 3.
So
And that is when the bloodbath is going to happen.
At the moment, should Empire choose to skip, Empire's going first, right? At the moment.
That's right.
So it's getting pretty key where I doubt that would happen in this current on the current board state, but it's important to note who could be getting the initiative because it's definitely around 3 and 4 and 5, I would say, are where I think initiative is the most important. That mid game is where you can win or lose a game so easily.
I fully agree. And one thing I've noticed in my recent games that I wanted to just share is I've noticed that when it becomes round 6 and 7, going first typically tends to be bad now because you don't want to have to move off that center hex. You want your opponent to move first so then you can have the last move in those last 2 rounds to capture center. And I just think it's interesting how in the early game and the mid game you want to go first, but in the late game you actually want to go second. And I just think that's a neat little balancing thing because the player who has more units at the end of the game is more likely to have to go first, which is what they don't want to do in round 6 and 7.
Indeed, yeah. And we saw Gravy skip them, right, with the longbow archer. So Gravy is currently sat on initiative at the moment because Empire moved the crossbowmen. Lots of positions. This is probably the most tense and tactile game I've seen of Blitz in a very, very long time. It's really interesting to see how these guys are really shaping up the board to plan things out.
Now, this is neat. Empire just leaving center.
Is that a case of saying,
okay,
hey, you know what? Like, I want to. You guys can have it. I promise. I will not retaliate. I will not do anything to you if you take it. I promise. I'm giving you this gift. Is it very much a bait? Do you think he's very much moving away to bait, or is it more security, more trying to just make sure that he can keep something alive?
No, honestly, what I'm thinking Empire was doing here is that Empire is currently the player in the lead. He's currently the guy who's winning. So he's looking to try and push his... He's trying to push his advantage harder. And one way to do that is to, in some instances, maybe do even bad trades, go down on gold in occasion. But just to take those extra few units away from your opponent and solidify your advantage is smart. And that's what I think Empire is doing. He's just saying, you know what, it's round 2. I don't need to hold the center right now. I'm going to push the advantage that I do have.
Yep.
And I think it's going to pan out for him.
And we see Heavy Knight coming in there, clearing out the Enforcer, chomping him up nice and easy there. And not controlling center hex, but pretty much controlling it all in spirit with the Aurelia, the Heavy Knight, and the Crossbowman.
And Aurelia charges in and takes the Priest. Gravy's healer is down.
Yeah.
Things are looking grim for our hero in blue. The aggressive Aurelia might just be taking this match.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's that. I mean, Heavy Knight with 2 damage right now is it's not the easiest thing to try and keep alive now with no healing. But we see the Heavy Knight coming in, getting rid of the other Knight, which makes the most sense, right? Because otherwise the other Knight sits a free kamikaze Knight into the Heavy Knight with only 1 hit point left.
Absolutely. The Spellbreaker is actually in prime position to deal some damage. It can shoot the Heavy Knight or the Aurelia. I'm kind of feeling one of those plays here. Or Tactician giving it even more power
Yeah.
could be quite good.
We see the Enforcer tapping, I'm assuming, to disarm the Aurelia, right? And this time Priest will not be, sorry, to disarm the Knight. This
Ooh,
time
it's on
Priest
the
will
night.
not be around to remove that debuff. So
Mm.
Knight this round is going to be disarmed for the whole round.
Yep, absolutely. Crossbowman going down to everybody's hero, Squire. Oh no, we're having trouble. Okay, TTS. Oh wait, no, it's going down to the Dawnbringer.
Dawnbringer's
I thought
coming
the
down.
Squire was gonna. Okay, sure, yeah, I actually like that. Get it in position to mess with the Heavy Knight.
Hey. The Squire doesn't deal with scrubs like a crossbowman. The Squire's got one unit and one unit only in its sides, and that is the Heavy Knight. Hey, it's a David versus Goliath story. We've got it set up there. The Heavy Knight is literally adjacent to the Squire. You watch how this is going to play out. The Squire's going to come out triumphant. I believe in you, my friend. I believe in you.
You know, with Squire's 2 power, it can deal 1 damage to that Heavy Knight, and
Indeed.
oh, hey, if it deals 1 damage to the Heavy Knight, that means Aurelia can Sunstrike it. It's not bad.
Yeah. Indeed, yeah.
And
there we go.
what we just saw there was Empire's Aurelia using her dagger to take the shield off of the Spellbreaker, and that means the Spellbreaker is now vulnerable to be captured by Empire's Heavy Knight, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, so using the Spellbreaker now makes most sense, right? Use it or lose it, sister, as they say.
Use it or lose it.
Using it there to push the 2 damage on there now, which is nice. I'm telling you now, we're going to see a Sunstrike come in to go to 5, and then Squire's going to take the Heavy Knight. I'm telling you.
Honestly, yeah.
Squire's going to do
that
it.
is exactly what's going to happen.
Squire's going to do it, and we're all going to cheer. Everyone at home, around the country, around the world, is going to drop their popcorn and cheer for that Squire. It is a true... It's like the end of a rom-com movie. You know, that heartwarming moment. You know it's going to happen. And when it does, you're not surprised. You just feel good about yourself. And that's the way
Yeah,
we're going to
absolutely.
go with the Squire.
I am hoping. I believe in you, Squire. You can take down that Heavy Knight.
That's what you want. The positivity for the Squire. We're gonna get T-shirts made up and everything. Team Squire.
Team Squire.
Yeah, we'll get that girlfriend meme. You know, when they're walking past and the guy's looking back and there's a Squire walking away. That's what we're gonna be getting that one.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm tweeting that after this recording, and nobody's gonna understand it at all until they watch this video.
Yeah, has to be done. Anyway, back to the game now. So Priest coming in now and looking to make sense, right? Heal up the Heavy Knight.
Yep. Just heal off the Heavy Knight. It's understandable.
Oh,
yes, Squire!
You've done it.
Woo!
You've done it. You push that damage on there, which may be huge because that Sunstrike, it allows Sunstrike to happen, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be a very big deal.
Yep. Sunstrike would be pushing 3 damage, putting the Heavy Knight on 2 hit points. Technically 3 if it comes from a physical damage source because the armor.
Yep. And we're looking for the buff we need. Ooh, what's Heavy Knight going to get? +1 power? +1 power.
For a 5 charging unit. That's
that's going to be deadly.
Pretty powerful. God, there. So there we go. Now we see the Sunstrike coming in, pushing 3 more damage onto it, going to 4 damage. Unfortunately, the Sunstrike, the Dawnbringer Paladin is tapped, so they can't do much now. The Longbow
Can't do anything with that.
Don't do anything because the armor keeps it alive. Now we see Heavy Knight coming out, and it's Heavy Knight for Heavy Knight. Empire coming across and taking Gravy's Heavy Knight that was sat up there, which is, that's a pretty big deal, right? A Heavy Knight taking a Heavy Knight.
Oh, yeah. And now that we are in the mid-game, it is those tight, beautiful formations we saw at the beginning are just a total mess. It is a free-for-all. It is a scramble to try and take and capture as much as you can. Everyone's just in the dirt wrestling each other.
Yep.
Oh, 2 damage on the Dawnbringer, and then I think that crossbowman's going to deal another 2 damage. Gravy just skipping to get the go first. Very understandable.
Yeah, crossbowman pushing another 2.
Yep. That's what I would expect.
Yep,
Ooh, maybe not. Yep, there he goes.
Tactician skipped, and may as well move, right? Because Gravy's tapped, so you have free play. So bring your cards up, position
Empire's
where you
gonna...
need
Empire's gonna have to go first anyway, so he might as well develop his pieces a little bit more.
Yep.
Aurelia flying over, and we're gonna do the Sunstrike to that Heavy Knight. Just get it off the board. Both Heavy Knights are gone. Not a bad trade or a bad situation for Gravy at this point. He is still very much in this, with a regular knight and a Dawnbringer Paladin left, and Empire completely out of knights, and his Aurelia only having 1 mana left. Whew, this could still be a Gravy game.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dawnbringer Paladin only on 2 hit points and also no mana, so they can't move in and do their Sunstrike.
That's true.
So that that would be really
honestly, honestly, I think Gravy got his value out of that Dawnbringer Paladin right now. I'd just take one of those annoying little crossbowmen, because here's what I'm looking at, right? If Gravy handles the crossbowmen, Empire does not have a way to deal reliable damage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at right here. He could Tactician, give +1 power to Longbow Archer. Have Longbow Archer shoot and take out 1 crossbowman, and then have Dawnbringer handle the other. And Gravy is genuinely in a good position to win this at this point. Oh, but Empire sees the play and just has his Aurelia charge and take out the Dawnbringer.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's fine, because now that Aurelia is not really a threat anymore.
Yeah, well, this is the benefit of having the charging Aurelia, right? Do you have that? You can use it as the base damage. You're not relying on mana. You're not relying on skills, abilities. You're just basically saying, "Hey, I've got 3 damage and 5 hit points. Anyone in my range, I'm coming at you."
Yep, exactly. But now that she's out of mana, she can't charge anymore. It's melee attacks only for her.
Yep.
We'll have to see. I was very much thinking Empire was going to win this, and now I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, this is up. This game's up in the air. Genuinely, I don't actually know. Gravy can still very much win this.
Yeah, it's a tight one, isn't it? It's a very...
Oh, this is very close. This is very, very close.
Tight game. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out now. So at the moment, we've got... look, we're pushing the clock to boundaries that normally you see in draft, in a blitz game. Like, that's how tactile and how much these guys are thinking. Like, how much is, I don't want to say on the line, but you know what I mean? They're really chewing over every single play, move, interaction, which is what you get when 2 of the best people in the game in the game face off against each other.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you, Woody. I do think there's a lot on the line on this game, because you have to remember, this is a recorded game that's going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel. And the one time I made an embarrassing mistake, I have yet to live that down.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yes.
See, I wouldn't know how that feels, because I don't make embarrassing mistakes. So
that's true. But there was a game where I made a big embarrassing mistake, and none of my friends in the server, they've all been good sports about it, of course. We have a very lovely community, but they have not let me forget. And no, I'm not going to tell you what that mistake is. You're just going to have to go and watch the video yourself.
So now we see Empire using that 5 health Aurelia, right, to take Golden Hex and be like, hey, it's getting to business end. It's getting to the business end of this game now. You've got 2 rounds to come and take this Golden Hex with me with 5 health. How do you do that?
Here's what I'm seeing, actually, right? If you can charge in with the Knight and deal 2 damage to Aurelia, and then you can Sunstrike it. And that's how I would try and deal with this.
Yeah.
Right now, though.
Although Empire does still have 1 charge on Priest with that mana. So
does.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Huge. So that Knight coming in could easily be negated out with a Priest.
Wow, this is tough. He's going to have to really think about how he's going to deal with this. He's going to deal 1 damage to Aurelia. I like that, honestly. I think that's
Yeah,
what he's going to have to do.
Well, that instantly puts the Solar Aegis now, right? Sorry, not Solar Aegis. The Sunstrike. They're now as a threat. So it's like, hey, do I use the healing to do one, or do I look to wait and get greedy to then heal two off of it when off the Sunstrike?
I think Empire's choosing to get greedy here. Aurelia closing in. Okay, this is smart. Gravy is putting his Aurelia right next to Empire's, right in melee range. He knows that his Aurelia is basically out of mana for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And so he's just going to use her as a beat stick. I think that's really smart. Empire, all he has left is his priest. Now, what he can do here is he can he's skipping with the priest to go first. That is genius.
Yeah. So skips
using the healing potion and taking the Aurelia.
Yep. There we go.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Because now he's out of kill range with Knight.
Yeah. No, well, Knight can still take it, right?
But
the longer
scale mail gives +1 health.
Of course, yeah. The armor and the health. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Worm scale mail, one of the best items in the game, my friend. In the game.
Yeah, the +1 health on the worm scale is going to absolutely clutch you there, meaning the Knight cannot come in. And then there
Empire,
we see healing, and now it's almost back after all that hard work from Gravy. Aurelia's almost back.
Empire made a mistake. No, Empire made a mistake. I think he dropped the game. Because he put Enforcer to the middle. So since Enforcer's in the middle, Gravy wins.
Oh, because Gravy can take the Enforcer, but the Aurelia cannot take. Or no, because he can just disarm it, right?
The disarm!
Yeah, disarm.
I forgot about the disarm.
He disarms
the no! Knight. Oh, this is devastating. Oh my goodness.
So, no, wait, because so he'll tap this though, yeah, because then if he was to move the Aurelia, he could then ping the crossbowman, the Enforcer, to then move Knight onto it. But it doesn't matter because no matter what, either the Aurelia or the Priest will take center hex. Oh, what a game! This is literally come down to the wire. Round 7.
So
7.
Close.
3 cards.
That was
left
so
apiece.
close.
I thought for a minute then. I thought Gravy.
Gravy says, hold on. Gravy says, "GG, I win." Wait, hold on.
Have we missed something here?
I may have missed something. I'm gonna say play it out. I'm gonna have the guys play it out for me. I think. What are they saying? Okay, so Empire has to skip. Knight skips. It's because Woody.
Oh,
Woody, I saw what happened. I saw what happened.
He was second, wasn't he?
Defender!
Yeah.
It's the defender!
Yeah.
Because that center hex is empty. Empire lost!
Oh, of course.
Woo!
Yeah, I've never seen a win.
God.
I've never seen a win off of an empty hex.
Literally the closest game in Legacy's Allure history.
Wow.
Oh.
So you think if Empire puts Knight on center, Aurelia on center, that wins him the game?
Yes, without a doubt. If Aurelia was on center, he could have still disarmed the Knight with Enforcer, and he could have still won.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, what a game. That's possibly the longest Blitz game I've ever watched or been part of. It was that was a, I mean, if that doesn't get people excited to go play the game, I don't know what will. You're in the wrong, not only in the wrong video, you've been here for an hour. What have you been doing here for an hour if that doesn't get you excited? I don't even know. Go and apologize.
Wow.
Wow.
There's nothing I can follow that up with. That was just the wildest roller coaster I've ever seen. I can't. Gravy found a way to come back. If that doesn't prove that it is never over until it is over in Legacy's Allure, I can't convince you. I
Yeah.
can't convince you at that point. That was incredible.
Yeah, honestly, about round 5 time, I thought this is curtains. I thought there's no way Gravy has a chance coming back from this, based on the fact that he'd lost a heavy knight, based on the fact they'd lost the enforcer, the regular knight, lots of stuff was just going. I was like, yeah, there's no way he comes back from this. But I stuck at it, and Squire's good, but I think that, maybe I'm steering more towards Longbow Arch now with that play at the end. What a play! What a play! Cool.
I mean, oh my gosh. Squire was still clutch in getting that heavy knight gone at the end. So, Squire's still best card in the game.
Indeed.
I stand by that.
Absolutely.
And with that, I mean, what more can we say?
Not much. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. We love doing these each week for you guys. So, yeah, anything you want to know about that? The one thing I will say, apologies, we didn't turn on the card highlighting, so there may be a couple of scenes there where people might be a little bit like, what cards, what players, team? So yeah, apologies for that on that one there. But overall, it was a cracking game. Any questions you got about the game, any gameplay questions, any turn questions, ping them in the comments. The people in the Discord, people who know the game very well, do watch these videos. They read the comments. Someone will get back to you. Might not be from the official Legacy's Lore account. Someone will get back to you and break stuff down if you have any questions on that. Or if you want to go play the game, follow the links in the description over to the Discord. Get into LFG channel and just say, hey, I'm new. I'm looking for a game. Someone will show you how to play. Starting off with a 50 gold Blitz game. Takes around 20 to 30 minutes. But trust me, you will not regret it. You may even have a game like we just seen there as well. So who knows. But anyway, that's enough from myself and from the lovely Mr. Robo. As always, thank you for joining me, my friend.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, especially when we get to see games like that.
Indeed. And thank you to you guys as well for giving up some time to enjoy some Legacy's Lore. Have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is where you guys are. And until next time, stay safe, take care, and goodbye.